Welcome to Tampa Home Talk with your host, native Tampa real estate girl, Katrina Madewell, a full-time, passionate, out-of-the-box thinker, love for home ownership kind of realtor with over 21 years of combined mortgage and real estate experience. Tune in every week at this time for expert advice on everything you need to know about home ownership, finance, maintaining great credit, building wealth, and making your everyday life better, and how you can be financially successful today and tomorrow. Remember, love where you live or let Katrina fix it. Now, here's your host of Tampa Home Talk, Katrina Madewell.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If it's your first time catching our show, the mission of our show here at Tampa Home Talk is to help you keep and maintain great credit, live within your means, and build wealth. My team and I are passionate about it. We also love to talk about anything in and around the real estate space and within the community where we live and work and play. So that's why today is an ever exciting show for me. I couldn't wait to bring in our guests for today's show because we just have some fantastic content lined up for you today. But we're going to talk a lot about Pasco County, which was the redheaded stepchild, right, for a while of the greater Tampa Bay area, and not so much anymore can Pasco be ignored. So we're going to talk about Pasco County growth, development, some of the changes that have gone on, and one of our guests today in studio is Catherine Starkey. She's Pasco County Commissioner, and I forget the district number. I'm sorry.
I am District 3.
Thank you. And I've had the pleasure of working with her and her spouse before, Trey, and we're going to talk about some of the changes and just the things that you've been a part of and you've made happen in Pasco County. And like you said, a lot of the things you do today, you guys see later on. And we're going to also talk a little bit with Matt Iberius. Did I get that right?
You did.
All right.
Yep.
He is the Rec and Lifestyle Director and the Director of the models and stuff at Starkey Ranch.
The Welcome Center.
Do I have it right? I messed
Director
that part
of
up. I got your
Recreation and
last name
Lifestyle.
right.
You're
I
good.
messed your title up. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about that project because you guys are just now selling some dirt in there and you got the models up, and that's a pretty exciting project.
It's an exciting project.
So I guess we'll dive in first with you, Catherine, and talk about the overall picture, like where, and you've been in Pasco for a long time, right? Like how long have you lived in the Pasco area? Your family's had Starkey Ranch there for eons.
Well, I am married to a Starkey, so I'm new in that sense. I've been in Pasco County for about 25 years. But my husband's family, they were one of the founding families in Pinellas County and moved their ranch from Pinellas County up to Pasco in the 1930s. So they've been there quite a while.
So they were like pre-birth living there.
Yes, my husband's office is his former dining room. He's never lived anywhere else but on the ranch, except for the time that he was up at University of Florida.
Gotcha.
So
talk about some of the development and the changes. And we were talking even before the show about how much growth has come there, like how fast Wiregrass came up, and now the Tampa Outlet Malls is coming, and this whole stretch of the 56-54 corridor especially is really just booming. I mean, the development is crazy. As a matter of fact, I closed escrow with a client this morning that bought a property in Trinity, one of the Lenore communities over there, which we'll talk
Trinity
a little
West, probably.
Oh my gosh, I should know
Trinity
this.
East.
I could tell you the address.
Trinity
He's
Lakes.
in the gated section, right? Past Trinity Lakes in that area.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know where he lives. I just can't spit out the community. But so we're talking about how Pasco was divided up really into 5 sections, right? Or 5 areas?
Well, Pasco, I think, is really having a renaissance. It was known in the area as the place where we had blue-collar retirees coming down from up north. The west side really filled with 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage homes, and was really just a bedroom community.
A lot of snowbirds and retirees.
A lot of snowbirds. But in the last, I'd say, 20 years, we have really come on strong. I think Pasco was very innovative in passing some ordinances that were ahead of its time for the Tampa Bay area. We have had the first strict sign ordinance and landscape ordinance, and some of those things that were put in place that when development came, it was a nice development and very attractive and very modern looking. So I think that's really aided in Pasco's renaissance. And we have just a tremendous planning staff, and we have tried to prepare for this growth that everyone has been telling us is coming and really is here.
Which
and
you can tell it shows, like even in the infrastructure as far as the roads. And we were talking a little bit about the Brandon area right before and how the mall grew, and that whole stretch of 60 is just probably how 54 is going to look several years down the way. But the one thing they didn't do is build the infrastructure, have the roads big enough to accommodate people and that kind of stuff. And I think Pasco's done a great job with that.
Well, we have, but we do have some challenges coming up because we have so much open space preserved. We have over 30% of the county in protected lands. We have the 22,000 acre Starkey Preserve, for example. We have the well fields that give a lot of water for the area. These areas kind of block a good road network, so we have some challenges ahead of us on the roads, but we brought in ULI. We were the first county ever to have the Urban Land Institute come in and take a look at what we were doing and give us some guidance. And these are experts in their fields in the development arena. And then they came back and looked at us again to see how we were doing. And so we've got some really innovative planning features going on, and we've won actually quite a few awards on our planning. And one of the things that we did was to divide the county up into 5 what we call market areas. And we have the harbors on the west side of the county, which goes along the coast and encompasses US 19. We have gateway crossings, which is State Road 54 and 56, and that's really our growth corridor.
We have the hot button within the Pasco area.
Yes, we're going to get into that, I think, right? In a little more. For sure. We have the Highlands, which is the area around Dade City with these beautiful rolling hills and orange groves.
I was up there showing property the other day, like big tracts, like 5. Well, for you guys, they're not big tracts. For me, they're big tracts. 5+ acres, and those rolling hills are amazing up there.
People just wouldn't believe if you got off 75 when you're heading north and you turned right, turned east and started just going through a gorgeous drive through those hills. You would be amazed at how beautiful it is. And we have Countryside, which is the northern part of the county that borders along Hernando County. And then in the center, we have the area we called the Midlands. And we were fortunate to get a grant from Smart Growth America. And we partnered with grad students at Florida State University to do an in-depth planning for one of our market areas. And the one that's really challenging for us right now is the area we call the harbors. This is the area.
What real quick before you move on, what does that Growth Smart grant cover?
It helps us. It's helping us devise a plan for redevelopment for the 19 corridor.
Okay.
And we devise.
Which is much needed.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of change in demographics there. The retirees that moved there, 30, 40 years ago have now passed away, and we have a different dynamic going on, and we've had some. Well, there are a lot of renters in that area,
yes.
and a little bit of crime that's getting much better, and it just doesn't look as nice as the new areas where we have benefited from the landscape codes and sign codes and new development patterns. So we need to go back and revitalize that area, and so we're focusing on that area first. There are 13 different little sub areas in that market.
Up the businesses and all those things that are around there that are kind of run down and need a facelift.
That's the plan, and we're going to start in Newport Richey and Port Richey, and we've had 4 or 5 meetings now with the public and the students from FSU, and we've got a cool little plan for kickstarting the 19 redevelopment that I hope one day you'll have those folks come in here and go in more in depth.
Can't wait.
It's very neat. It's a walkable. They've got ideas for a walkable community and.
Does this include the downtown Newport Richey area, that whole area?
It does, and it's a really neat plan, and I hope that you'll.
I can't wait. We'll have that on another show for sure.
Yeah, or not necessarily me, but those folks that are working more in depth on that. So
just to talk about that in general and what's coming to the area.
Yeah.
So redoing the Gulf area, that's the focus, the number one place to start.
That's where our planning department is focusing a lot of effort, because there's so much value that we've lost in that area, and it has so much potential that's not being realized. So that's where we're starting as far as redevelopment. Then we've got the gateway crossings, which is the hot area of growth for Pasco County, and that's State Road 54 and 56.
So that whole south central Land O'Lakes, Lutz border area.
It starts in the Trinity area, where you just sold someone a house, and it goes all the way across to Wiregrass Ranch. And we have numerous developments going across. And you want me to talk to you about some of the things
definitely.
that are coming?
We can just chime in. We'll go from the west and we'll move all the way across to the east.
Okay, so starting in the west, just yesterday we approved the MPUD for a development called...
And MPUD is Master Planned Unit Development. Thank you.
Right, that's what most people are doing these days. We're getting away from DRIs, Development of Regional Impact.
Thank you.
Commissioners, we have to know so much about so much. It's kind of a crazy job. But so the Mitchell 54 West MPUD was approved yesterday, and that is being developed by a company called Kitson. They are the ones who bought Babcock Ranch down in the southern part of the state. Very, very reputable, excellent company. They're going to be starting with their retail and commercial corner there on State Road 54 and Little Road. If you know our county, it's across from the Super Walmart and the Super Target. And
a lot of cool things in that area. There's Chick-fil-A and Walmart and all kinds of things.
Yeah, and they're going to do a walkable community, because that's what we really stress in Pasco County, and with trails, and we'll talk about trails later. So that will be breaking ground soon now. And then when you move a little bit more east, we still have Trinity, and we have Trinity Lakes, and we have a Publix coming I'm not sure when they're breaking ground, but their plans are just being approved at the county. So we have a new Publix coming on 54 and some restaurants and other things there. And Trinity is really just about wrapping up, and that is a DRI.
So Trinity Preserve, that was a neighborhood. Spit it out.
Oh, there you go. There are a lot of Trinity neighborhoods, and this is the last one that's being done. So, and across the street from that is one that's very dear to my heart, and that is the Starkey Ranch. As we talked about earlier, our family moved to Pasco County in the 1930s, and they had a 16,000-acre ranch, and 75% of that is in preservation, but the rest we've worked on developing slowly. My husband and my brother-in-law did a piece called Longleaf, which is another walkable community-like celebration, and now we are selling pretty much the rest of what's left to a company called Wheelock Street Capital, and that's who we have represented here today.
And Matt, before we chime into that, because I know I have Chris Dunn back there looking at me, because I know we have to take a hard break here in about a minute. So we'll just finish up on that topic, and then we're going to jump into Starkey Ranch in a second. And so the walkability areas you're seeing right now of Pasco are what? Like the Trinity area, the Longleaf?
We are working hard to have high scores, and you're a realtor, so you know that's one of the hot buttons when someone's looking at online for a neighborhood. What is the walkability score? And I can tell you, Longleaf shoots it out of the ballpark. And we have a rule in our development code that you have to put in trails that connect to a master plan. It's very unique, probably in the state. So we're going to have high walkability in all our new neighborhoods in Pasco. We're working on retrofitting the others.
So exciting. I can't wait to talk about that. And we had such a fabulous conversation about growth and trails. And I know we're going to have some time to talk about that towards the end of the show. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. If you missed any part of our show today, catch it in its entirety. Just search for us at Tampa Home Talk. You'll be able to get the podcast. Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, where we will repost the show. And you can find us back here same time, same place every week. Hang tight for the break. When we come back, we're going to talk all about Starkey Ranch. Back in a minute.
Now you can't stand to think, and it's already started without you. So find your desperation, 'cause it's time.
You're buying a house. Congratulations. So while you're worrying about the paperwork, leave the moving part to us. We're Woody & Sons Moving Company, a Florida licensed and insured mover, and we offer same-day written estimates. Plus, no sneaky mileage, stairs, or additional stop fees. All we ask is that you check out our great ratings on Google and Angie's List, then go to woodyandsons.com to learn more. Whether you need a full-service pack and move or some extra hands, at Woody & Sons Moving Company, we move you.
Hi, this is Aaron Davis, owner of Hillsborough Title. Hillsborough Title is a local, family-owned title agency here in Tampa Bay. Our service, strength, and knowledge make us different. We've served Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. From Polk County to the Gulf, Pasco to Manatee, Tampa Bay, we've got you covered. Call us at 813-712-8888 or visit us on the web at thebesttitle.com. That's thebesttitle.com.
Curious what your Tampa home is worth? Here's an easy way to find out what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. Text the word value to 813-377-2775 for a free report on Tampa house prices. We'll send you a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on all homes for sale sold in your neighborhood over the last 6 months in all price ranges. To get your free report on Tampa Bay house prices, just call or text the word value to 813-377-2775.
You've heard this before. Interest rates are at all-time record lows. But if your interest rate is 4% or above, you owe it to yourself to call Silverton Mortgage Specialist. Silverton is a direct lender, and the best part about this is that the entire loan process is handled in-house. From application to close, we do it all in the same building, which means that our loans close fast and our clients know what's going on every step of the way. Our contact info is located on TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show. What makes Silverton different? Products. We offer VA, FHA, USDA, and conventional loans pricing. Best rates with the lowest closing cost. Process everything in-house. It's handled right here and not outsourced to anyone that no one can reach. This way we can avoid surprises. Our people are simply the best, and we know you'll agree. What will closing Silverton Mortgage Specialist mean to you? A smooth process, real home loan value, and personal attention from real professionals. Silverton Mortgage Specialists are here to serve you. Visit TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show for all of our contact details. NMLS 109600 is an equal housing lender and Florida and Georgia residential mortgage licensee.
Hey, Katrina Madewell here. Just wanted to make sure you know how to reach us on our off-air number. If you'd like to connect with myself or any of our guests, you can call us at 813-377-2775. Again, this is Katrina Madewell, host of Tampa Home Talk, and to connect with myself or any guest we have on air, just call or text at 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775.
Hey, this is Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and you are listening to Tampa Home Talk.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Thanks so much for rejoining us today, and if it's your first time catching the show, stick around, because we've got some amazing things that we're talking about regarding the Pasco County area. And if you're catching our show on one of the Starcom network stations out of the area, Pasco is a fantastic area, just a little north of Tampa proper. It's included in part of the greater Tampa Bay area, and there's a ton of growth and development really going on in the area. And so where we left off before the break, and our guests today are Catherine Starkey. Catherine is the county commissioner in Pasco County. And we also have Matt Iberius. He's a recreation and lifestyle director over at Starkey Ranch. I got it right that time.
You did.
Didn't I? So tell us about Starkey Ranch. Like how long ago did we start planning this? And tell me what the master plan is for this community.
So Starkey Ranch has been in development for a couple of years now in the planning stages. And, Catherine and her family did an outstanding job of preserving that land for Pasco County and the residents in the region. And the ranch itself is a community of 2,500 acres being developed. The entrance is at the corner of State Road 54 and Trinity Boulevard, which turns into Hart Pine Avenue. Avenue. And if folks follow Heart Pine Avenue North, they'll hit our Welcome Center. So 2,500 acres of several neighborhoods, each with its own characteristics, its own name, its own charm, with parks, trails, all kinds of very exciting amenities.
So what are some of the street names in here, since we're on the street names?
So the street names, one of my favorite is Barn Cat Run. And then there's several. So the goal of Starkey Ranch is to kind of have that ranch feel to it and to preserve so many of the names and some of the legacy of the Starkey family. And you'll see that many of the neighborhoods are named after pivotal members of the ranch that helped establish it. And the street names kind of speak back towards the ranch lifestyle as well. Heart Pine Avenue, we have the Barn Cat Run, which is, like I said, my favorite, and Berry Pick Trail, Lake Blanche Drive, which is another family member of the Starkeys.
Lake Catherine.
Yes.
I can't imagine how that was named.
And our first neighborhood is Whitfield Park, and Whitfield, Brian was a gentleman that was associated with the beginnings of the ranch. So we really strove to preserve that history there at the ranch as well, and we're doing a great job of it. And a lot of the Pasco community is very excited about what's happening out there at Starkey Ranch.
So master plan community, it's going to have probably CDDs, right?
It will. It'll have one CDD. It'll be for the entire district. Yes.
Okay. And how's the HOA fees going to be in there?
So the HOA is unique because the only purpose of the HOA is architectural review.
Okay.
So folks will pay a nominal fee, and that'll cover all their architectural review, as what kind of fence they can put in, what color they can paint their house, things like that. And then everything else from there, the district kind of takes over from that.
Which, by the way, I just want to touch on that for a minute because, when the market tanked, right, and it was what it was, and property values were falling, and people weren't paying their mortgage, which meant they weren't paying their HOA. It affected some of these communities that rely only on the HOA and not the CDD, and we saw values in those neighborhoods get hit a lot harder than some of the ones, like, for example, Dupree Lakes. That's a good example in Pasco that has a CDD. Their HOA fee is super low, but it covers all those major amenities, so they were still able to run those amenities and everything. Where you get into some of these other places, we've seen condo communities and stuff that if they're walking out of their building, they can't open the pool because there's not enough money to run it. So the CDDs help preserve it because the taxes always get paid, right? Someone's always going to pay the taxes. Even if you don't pay it, someone's going to pick it up for taxes and, collect some interest on it. So that's one of the, and I want to highlight that because I think there's been a little bit of bad PR around CDDs, and I think people aren't looking at the flip side of that.
And another good portion of the CDD is a lot of folks want to have a say in their local government, and the CDD kind of acts as that special district within Starkey Ranch. So folks that live in Starkey Ranch can run for the Board of Supervisors and be a part of the CDD and actually have their voice heard. So it's very unique for this area.
That's fantastic. So what kind of amenities do you have planned for Starkey Ranch?
So our first amenity is in the process of being completed as we speak now, Whitfield Park, which will be about a 3-acre central park in the Whitfield Park neighborhood. It'll be composed of a pool, splash pads, a pavilion, playground, and as well as 2 dog parks located, one at Whitfield Park and the other down at the Heart Pine Park, which is one of our entryway parks, as well as about 2 miles of our trail system being completed of the 20 miles that are planned within Starkey Ranch. And what the exciting part of the trail is they range in width from 8 to 12 feet, and they're very friendly for the whole family to walk down the trail together, as well as bikers, joggers, runners.
So it's going to be a 20-mile trail within Starkey
20-mile trail system with 2 connections out to the Wilderness Preserve as well.
That's awesome. So what else are they going to have in there? Imagine a pretty nice, are they doing more than one pool or just one?
So each neighborhood will have its own amenities and different aspects to it. And as the community grows, more amenities will come online as the district sees and as the residents want.
How many houses total are we looking at for the whole development?
So we're zoned for 5,000 residences. And we've also got some areas of commercial, which is of great interest along 54. There's a big demand for the commercial areas, and within that is 25,000 square feet of light industrial and office space and 20,000 square feet of support retail. And we're going to have a beautiful town square, and beautiful just only starts to describe it, out on Gun Highway in 54. And it'll be a very walkable town square, very friendly, where the family can sit and have something to eat and people watch as they walk by, and as well as an office park at the entrance to 54 and Trinity and Hart Pine right
So
there.
what other kind of things are going on there? I'm hearing office park, I'm hearing restaurant, I'm hearing like dog parks and walking trails and all these cool things.
So and I keep saying it's an exciting aspect, but there's lots of exciting aspects, and I get excited talking about it. So we have one of the most visionary agreements that you would see, I think, in the country coming from a recreation standpoint, in a P4 agreement, which is public, private, and it's in conjunction with several entities with Pasco County in developing a K-8 public school, as well as an 80-acre district park, a community library, and a community theater within the Starkey Ranch community that'll not only be accessible to the folks living within the ranch, but also the public as well. So it's also meeting a very, very big need for active recreation space and athletic complexes on the site of Pasco.
That's so exciting. I mean, we were talking about the theater piece alone. I mean, that's going to bring so much just to that neighborhood and that growth and that type of stuff.
It's a very unique kind of theater. It's called a black box theater, and the school districts will use it, and the public can use it, and it can be formatted for all different kinds of theatrical performances and uses. So.
You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back in just a minute, we're going to pick up the piece of some of these neighborhoods in the area in and around, and we're also going to talk about some of the master plan on down the line. Some of these things are several years out, so hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. Ask me about an inside secret to save several hundreds of dollars on your annual homeowner's insurance premium. Text the word WIND, W-I-N-D, to 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775.
You're buying a house. Congratulations. So while you're worrying about the paperwork, leave the moving part to us. We're Woody & Sons Moving Company, a Florida licensed and insured mover, and we offer same-day written estimates. Plus, no sneaky mileage, stairs, or additional stop fees. All we ask is that you check out our great ratings on Google and Angie's List, then go to woodyandsons.com to learn more. Whether you need a full-service pack and move or some extra hands, at Woody & Sons Moving Company, we move you.
Hi, this is Aaron Davis, owner of Hillsborough Title. Hillsborough Title is a local, family-owned title agency here in Tampa Bay. Our service, strength, and knowledge make us different. We've served Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. From Polk County to the Gulf, Pasco to Manatee, Tampa Bay, we've got you covered. Call us at 813-712-8888 or visit us on the web at thebesttitle.com. That's thebesttitle.com.
Hey, Katrina Madewell here. Just wanted to make sure you know how to reach us on our off-air number. If you'd like to connect with myself or any of our guests, you can call us at 813-377-2775. Again, this is Katrina Madewell, host of Tampa Home Talk, and to connect with myself or any guest we have on air, just call or text at 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Welcome back, and you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Thank you so much for rejoining us, and if you missed the earlier part of our show, you can catch it in its entirety. We've had a fantastic conversation today talking about the growth in the Pasco County area and the development just along that 54 corridor and other places all throughout the county. I'm excited to have our guest in studio today, Catherine Starkey. She's Pasco County Commissioner, and we also have Matt Iberius. He's the Recreation and Lifestyle Director for Starkey Ranch. I almost tried to mess that up again, but I didn't. So where we left off, we were just talking about, the 20 acres of walkability throughout here. I'm looking at a picture of this master plan, and it is just amazing. there's lakes and all kinds of things throughout this community.
And you'll also see that one of the highlights of Starkey Ranch is there's a lot of green space. There's a lot of green space.
The whole thing backs up to J.B. Starkey Wilderness Park.
And within the development itself, you've got 800 acres of dedicated green space, recreation, green space, open space. So we're really preserving a lot of that history on that land, as well as providing some great places for future generations to learn, grow, and play.
And it looks like there's 4 entrances, right, to this community, off of Gun Highway, off of the main entrance, probably off of Heart Pine Avenue.
There'll be several entrances as we go along, so it's accessible from all sides. And the main entrance will be right there at Heart Pine, which is Trinity Boulevard.
Which is where the sign is now, right, if you're driving down 54?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Well, the sign's coming, I think.
It's coming. There's a temporary sign up.
Well, there was
now.
a sign. There's something to mark the little territory
yes,
there.
there is. And if they travel a little bit north there, they'll hit the Welcome Center, where they're 7 days a week if folks want to stop by and visit and ask questions and get involved
what are your
with our
hours
builders.
like over there?
So we're there Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sunday from 12 to 6. And, of course, we're always available online. If they go to starkeyranch.com, they can sign up for the newsletter. They can sign up to get some email announcements and then updates from our 2 active builders, which are MI Homes and Ryland Homes.
And I will certainly be excited to come tour your community because I love selling homes in my backyard, if you will, because I live right
We made
there.
it very easy for you to sell in there.
Thank you. So, Catherine, where do we leave off with you? Because I know, oh my gosh, you and I could talk for probably 2 hours about all the stuff we talked about earlier today. But some of the plans, like the master plan, when you guys sat down as a county and really just talked about where Pasco County was going with regards to growth. And if you want to share something else on Starkey Ranch, please chime in.
Well, one of the reasons that we're the 54 corridor so hot is we kind of designated it as our growth corridor in order to preserve areas that want to stay more rural in other parts of the county. So we've incentivized the growth to occur down in that area with industry. If industry moves in there, businesses, hotels, commercial, they're going to see a great incentive package to locate in that area. They won't have to pay transportation fees. And if you're bringing in certain kind of jobs at a certain pay scale, well, we have a nice little economic package that we can pass along.
Right.
So,
and we were talking, what's the political word for that, where people live in an area like Pasco and they commute to Tampa proper?
Well, I would say we're a bedroom community right now, but we're looking to be a place where you can live, work, and play, and just have a great quality of life. And so
I think so much with just bringing in the restaurants and like the movie theaters and a lot of the things that you have talked about growth that you want to come will help a lot.
Yes. And I think I told you I have my own little list of things I hope we will see, and I'll just throw it out there. Whenever I meet with any developers, I say, please bring us a First Watch. Someone please bring us a Steinmart. Those are 2 of my favorites.
Since you're in the development piece, Matt, what does it take to do something like that, to pull it off?
Just somebody to shoot us an email or knock on our door saying we're interested.
It's that easy?
We want Whole Foods.
I will say that
yes.
Because I work in the Welcome Center primarily right now, is we've got a lot of commercial people coming through every day looking for new and exciting opportunities.
That's great.
We'll have some exciting things right there.
They could totally put a Whole Foods right there on 54, like somewhere between the Expressway and 41 would be perfect.
I'll take Fresh Market, Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's. I know my girlfriends and I, we talk about that all the time, and I keep hearing rumors, but nothing concrete yet. We'd also like something like the movie theater that I went to last night. I had to drive all the way across the county to the movie theater at Oakley Grove, the Cine Bistro. Fabulous. We want one of those on our side. But we have more developments coming along the 54 corridor. We have the Benke property's been sold to a company called Hines. I think they're an international company, very high quality developer as well. The name of that project is Astoria, and they just broke ground, but
any idea what the price ranges are going to be like in that neighborhood, or is that still too preliminary?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're way too preliminary for that, I'm sure.
And then we have Of course, we have Long Lake Ranch that has been selling some homes, and that road, was it Sun Lake Boulevard, is now open. That takes you from north of State Road 54 all the way through into Hillsborough County. It connects with Lutz Lake Fern Road.
Oh, it finally connects now?
Yes, it
Yay.
does. There is a speed trap in there. I have been pulled over, so let me give you a warning. It goes 45, 35, 30, 35, 45 very quickly,
okay.
so be careful. And then moving east, we have a huge development coming called Bexley Ranch. And, well, I think it's just Bexley, actually.
Where is that at?
Bexley is right near the Sun Coast and 54.
So east of the Sun Coast?
It is east of the Sun Coast on the north side across from North Point.
Okay.
A very nice commercial and industrial development. And Bexley Ranch is really, 850,000 square feet of commercial and 5,530 homes. So they're just getting off the ground, and that is a company that's called Newland. Newland did
Yes.
West Chase, I believe.
Newland's been around for a long time. It's
Yeah.
done a ton of communities.
Yeah, so that's Newland. So, and then you can keep moving east, and you'll end up at Wiregrass, which is just opened a new development called I think it's called Estancia.
Yes.
North of
it
the
is. I've
mall.
shown some stuff in there.
It's crazy. I thought when I was at their welcome center, I thought I was at a Ritz-Carlton. I mean, their clubhouse. It's over the top, but it's it's something new for Pasco County to have a development at that price point. But I'm very
I've
proud.
had
I'm
some
very
people
proud that we have that.
move out of New Tampa into that area.
I
That
bet.
we're looking at that area. They really
bet.
like it.
It's a gorgeous development. So a lot of great opportunity along the State Road 54 and 56.
And we were talking a little bit about the penny for Pasco. That's an important piece in the growth and development of where the county is going and where we've been.
We are so lucky that we have that penny in our county. It's the second time that we've passed it, and we changed the makeup of this one a little bit so that we're throwing some money into the economic development pot. We are putting some money into transportation, as always, and then a part of it is going to trails, which I really am a big proponent of. And I was fortunate enough to serve for 3 governors on the State Greenways and Trails Council, so I saw the impact that trails can have in communities, and my husband and I, and our whole family, we're very big trail users. We take our bikes with us really all over the world. It's kind of crazy. I've even mountain biked in Africa. Just really wanted to move that along in Pasco County, and we have a unique plan in our comprehensive plan where all new communities have to have a trail system, and that trail system has to link to the master trail plan.
Oh, that's nice. So that's a piece that you guys have put in place already?
Yes, and if you look at the roads in Pasco County, you will see that we have what are called complete streets. And now you'll look on one side, it has a sidewalk that I think is about 5 feet, but on the other side, we're going to have a multi-use trail that may be 6 to 8 feet, depending on where you are. But then our big trails are going to be 10 to 12 feet.
Wow.
And we are part of the state effort that's underway called the Coast to Coast Trail.
Which this is exciting. I can't wait for you to share this part.
Yes. So this is a trail that the state is working on that will go from the city of St. Pete all the way through Pinellas County, through Pasco, through Hernando, and I'm going to get the name of the counties that it goes through here in a second. At Hernando County, it'll turn east, and it will head all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And this is a $50 million effort by the Department of Transportation. They took it under their wing last year, and last year was the first year they gave out some funding for it. And the piece that's going to affect everybody around here is closing. It's the piece that will close what we call the Starkey Trail to the Pinellas Trail. And we were working on this before the Coast to Coast started.
So they're going to connect these two.
They're going to connect these two. And the cool thing is that this is going to happen without any public acquisition money. Pinellas County already owns the right-of-way along Keystone or Tarpon, whatever you want to call that road. So they're going to extend from East Lake east to Booker Creek Environmental Education Center, then turn north through Eldridge Wild, Wellfield, and connect with the Starkey Trail that's going to come across State Road 54 through underneath the Duke power lines, through Trinity, then we'll hook up at the border there. And this is underway right now. Design and construction is going on in Pinellas County, and our contract for design was just let in Pasco County. The DOT is controlling that.
And this whole vision started about a year ago, or a little longer than a year ago? Probably longer than a year ago.
That connection I've been working on for about 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed to say, but government moves very slowly. The Coast to Coast Trail, we tried 2 years ago to get this through, and it didn't happen. But the next year, when Senator Andy Gardner, came into his current seat as Senate President, this is one of his champion ideas, and DOT is very excited about this, and the state is very excited about it, because trails really, and you've got a developer over here, the number one amenity that people are looking for.
Yes. And we need that. I think if we don't keep that key little piece, here within the Florida and the central part, like the greater Tampa Bay area especially, we lose that. Like with development, we need to keep some of the preservation.
Yeah. And our trail in Pasco County, the trail that goes through Starkey Wilderness Park is absolutely lovely. And people come from all over the Tampa Bay area to ride that trail. And we're also building off-road trails in the park as well. But that's our jewel, at least on the west side of the county, and really in the Tampa Bay area for bike riding. There are no lights, there's no side roads, there's 7 miles of pure heaven. And then you connect to the Suncoast Trail.
And that's important because, you hear all the time about biker safety, and bicycle riders getting hit by cars. Yeah. People are constantly texting even though they're not supposed to. And, I see it all the time, especially right here off of in the Dunedin area. Like when we leave the station, that whole area right there by the Publix where, the road just kind of curves around and the bikers are there and there's people coming from every direction. One
of our initiatives that we're looking at in the county is to add some shoulders up in the San Antonio hills along the roads there. We have people, again, that come from all over the country to ride their bikes in the hills of San Antonio. We even have the Air Force bike. The Air Force or the Armed Forces has a triathlon team, and they come and train in that area in the winter. And so it's beautiful biking, but we need to add some shoulders so that everyone is safe, and it can be a real tourism draw for that area as well.
Now, I know you were saying you were hoping that it went into the Lacucci area. Is that where all the rolling hills are too?
Lacucci's just a little north of the rolling hills, but it's right on the edge of it. But so the Coast to Coast Trail right now, there is one piece of it where they're still doing a route study, and there's a trail study going on the north and a trail study going for the more southern route. It's my hope we take the southern route and it'll come back into our county and help Lacucci, because it's a very depressed rural area, and this could be a real shot in the arm for the Lacucci area. And then it would take off east through the Green Swamp, which is very nice to ride through. So we need to do a little politicking and a little what is that? Squeaking the wheels? What's that term? To help it go to our side, because others have the same ideas for their community. So
I think it's fantastic. Of course, I live and work in Pasco County, so I'm a big advocate, and if there's anything I can do to help push that. And and I voted Penny for Pasco because I thought it was a good idea for just the overall growth and plan.
Oh, that penny allows us to do so many cool things. I'm so thankful for it. Now the county gets 45 cents of that penny. The other another 45 cents goes to the school district, and then 10 cents is distributed among the cities. So we put our 45 cents to good work.
Well, think about it. It really makes sense because there are a lot of snowbirds. There's a lot of people that do not live here full time. So why not have them contribute into the infrastructure here that supports the place that they like to play?
That's right. And listen, those snowbirds are out walking those trails. And
of course they are.
Yeah, good for them. So,
and we want to preserve it, and it's a good thing. But I'm just saying, the penny for Pasco helps share in that cost equally.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So, and I know you were talking a lot about just the educated workforce that we have here, and the incentive to bring these companies to the area in Pasco, so that it's not just people living here and sleeping here; they can actually go to work in the county.
We have a very innovative project going on in Pasco County, and it's also in Hernando and Pinellas County, and we were fortunate that last year the state funded our pilot. And I was on the school board before I became a county commissioner, and one of my, the area really I worked on the school board was workforce training and career academies, and then I started learning a lot about manufacturing because I started some engineering academies and robotics academies, and I learned how much of our manufacturing has gone overseas and how important it is for our economic health to bring manufacturing back. And because manufacturing has gone to such a high-tech status, it's something that we can easily bring back here if we have the skills, if we have the skilled workforce. And the gold standard of manufacturing training are the Germans. So I've been over twice to learn from the Germans how they do it, and they really are very big on their apprenticeship style training and hands-on training. And it's interesting because it's industry who takes the lead in this workforce training, not the government, not the schools. So we have started a pilot program here that models or mimics as much as we can an American kind of economy, that style of training. And we're taking students that are in high school, in the high schools in the 3 counties, and we're partnering them with local manufacturers. And we have, through funding from the state, bought state-of-the-art equipment, and we have 5 centers that are going to open up this summer that will take these students, partner them with these manufacturers, and they'll go 2 days after school, 2 to 3 days, it varies, after school to get this hands-on gold standard training, and then they'll go work at the manufacturer sites for a couple days a week. And this will take about 3.5 years of time, but they will be sitting for industry certifications along the way, and they can go on to the state colleges. Here we're partnered with St. Pete State College and St. Pete College and Pasco Hernando State College, where they can get their AS degree, and probably in most instances it'll be paid for by the companies, and they will be earning money when they're working at the companies as apprentices. So it makes sense. It's the way we used to do it, and we got away from it.
And plus, the cost of tuition is just ridiculous now. I mean, you have kids that age; they're similar to my kids' age, so I know you know what this is like. So that makes sense. And
these kids can get great jobs without going to college. But they also can continue on in post-secondary if they want to. But the average salary of someone with these kind of certifications in this area is $34,000 a year.
Which is not horrible for a high school kid that's still trying to figure out what they want to do.
That's a great salary.
Yeah.
It's a great salary.
I think so,
with
too.
no debt.
No debt. Exactly. That's the key. No debt, and pay your way through school. And if the company's picking up some of that, I mean, sounds like a win-win for everybody across the board.
So what this does is it keeps the kids in school. It helps them understand why they need to learn math and science, and they get energized knowing that they have some kind of career idea. It helps the local manufacturers because they get to shape their workforce, and they get to pool their resources. You know, big companies like Mercedes and BMW, they have these in-house, these kind of training programs. But what we're doing here are taking small manufacturers and pooling resources so that they can all share in the cost of the trainer and the equipment, and then get their qualified workforce out. And the other thing that it does is it allows us to look at those countries where they're moving manufacturing to the United States, to say, hey, you don't have to go to North Carolina or South Carolina, right, Kentucky or Indiana, because we have manufacturing here in this area, and we have the exact training program you're using over there. So I'm real excited about it.
I know that when I participate a lot at the local level with the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. I'm on different committees and stuff there, and I participated in Great American Realtor Days, and that was one of the things that was on the talking points for the last several years, talking about commercial entities and getting rid of the sales tax that they're charging on leases for commercial companies, because that also is another piece that will help continue to grow and develop businesses here in the area. We don't want them to take them to other areas where they're not going to have those taxes.
I sit on the Governor Council of the Tampa Bay Partnership, and that was part of our legislative package to deal with those taxes on those leases. And this was kind of a strange legislative session. And the good news is that there's another one coming really close behind it. And those important ideas that didn't get legs this time, we only have to wait a few months and we can go to work again. So, but I agree with you. We have a few things that we need to tweak in order to give ourselves a real edge on some of these other states.
Right. And, this kind of dives into one of the other things we talked about, too. And I know, and how, please correct me if I'm wrong or reopen this. However, we were talking about, like, the demand that people are, wanting to grow their own food. They're wanting to have chickens. They're wanting to have this kind of stuff. Please chime in on that, because I think it's an important part that people ask about and talk about all the time.
All the time. So when I first was elected commissioner, I started getting these emails about backyard chickens. And I brought it up. See, you're laughing. I brought it up at a county commission meeting and everyone laughed. But I said, I have a lot of constituents who want urban chickens. And
we get that in the field. We do.
So we started, the staff started working on it a little bit, and then they got pulled away because we're working on rewriting our land development code and making it easier, and so it definitely had less urgency than some of these other ideas. And then I traveled around and I saw places where they had community gardens, and I brought that one up. We really need to look at community gardens, and so I brought my backyard chicken people and my community garden people together, and then all kinds of people jumped out of the woodwork. And
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh. IFAS came in, and the health department and the school district, and some of my long range planners, and the master gardeners, agriculture people. We just got this huge working group going, and yesterday or Tuesday, I guess that was yesterday, we approved something called the Food Policy Council, and we will be appointing people to this Food Policy Council, and they're going to take a look at what's going on in our county as far as health-wise with food, and we're going to encourage locally grown food and teach people how to grow their own food, and we're going to look at county property that maybe can be given to associations or lent, not given, and groups who want to come together and start their own community gardens.
And then you were talking about them essentially even taking this like into a food truck type mentality where they're taking all this fresh produce.
Yes, one of the ideas was to have a food truck that would sell the locally grown produce around the county, and it would be on it would move around, and so it would be a mobile food market. And people have such
fantastic.
Great ideas. So
yes.
in about 9 months, we are going to have an amazing list of great ideas coming from this Food Policy Council. And it's real cutting edge stuff, and it's really hip and urban and something really neat for the area. And I'm really glad that Pasco County is the first one in this area to be taking this up.
And I think it's important. Catherine, we've never really been big gardener, farmer kind of people. We're just not, even though we live in Pasco. And when my grandfather passed away last year, we decided to plant this whole like stackable garden in his honor. And then that stackable garden kind of like just expanded from there. And it turned into this big thing that turned into, we have kale in the backyard. So the kids are putting it into their shakes, and now they're juicing. And it's just,
the younger generation, they're very health conscious with their food. And one of my girlfriends, Allison Crumbly, she sits on the school board now in my seat. She just had someone come in and build an organic garden in her backyard in my neighborhood. And she's going to start growing her own tomatoes and her own kale, just like that. So I think that's a real big movement that's growing. And, that's something Starkey Ranch could think about, is finding a spot for a community garden.
And I can get you guys connected with Grace's Hydroponic. We had them in a while back. Excellent show. Those people are like, Chris is going, yeah, they were fantastic.
Send them our way.
Love to connect you guys. You guys have been amazing. I can't tell you how much I'm honored to have had you on the show today, and I'm hopeful that we'll have you back when you get some new stuff shaking up so we can share in the communities and talk about the things that are changing as your community develops. Real quick before we close the show, when's your open to the public, Starkey Ranch?
If they go online to starkeyranch.com, they'll get an invite to the July 11th event.
Okay, so it's coming up real soon. Check out the community. I think you'll love it, and then you want to live and work in Pasco.
And I have a website to share. It's called amskills.org, and that's where you'll find out information about our training centers in Pinellas, Pasco, and Hernando County.
And as always, we will post all this information on our website at tampahometalk.com. We'll also put it on our Facebook page, our Twitter page. And if you missed any part of the show, catch it in its entirety because it was a fantastic one. I say that every week, but this one really was great. Thank you so much for checking us out today at Tampa Home Talk. We'll be here same time, same place next week. We enjoyed having you. Welcome you back next week. And for this week, we're out.